Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This will be the continuation of my report regarding creating time series analysis. So here, this is an actual example on how we could create a time series analysis and, of course, forecasting future data. Forecasting time series data, such as bread sales, as presented on the screen, it involves a systematic approach to analyzing past data, identifying patterns, and for projecting future values. Kasi nga part ng predictive analysis ang time series analysis. So today, we will be exploring the patterns and trends in bread sales over the past 4 years. And our goal is to understand these trends and use them to predict future sales. Our goal kasi dito is to forecast future sales for year 5 by using our historical data. So our historical data would be our sales in thousands. So let me put YT. So YT would represents the actual observed values of bread sales for each quarter, which are in thousands. This is the raw data that we will start with and will be our basis for all the analysis that we will be doing later on. So the purpose of having our historical data is to provide a historical sales performance, and it is the core data set for trend, seasonality, and for forecasting analysis. So, the first thing that we need to do to help us analyze our sales for year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4 is to insert a line chart. So, we will be choosing a line chart with marker. So, as you can see, I have inserted a blank line chart. So, in order to put the element here, we just have to go to chart design, select data, add entries. So the series name for this one would be our sales in thousands. And the series values would be the actual sales. Click OK. So in here, we can see the visual representation of our sales from year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and from quarter 1 to quarter 4. So as an observation for our line chart, so the sales approximately starts at 5.2. This is for year 1, quarter 1, which is 5.2 or 5,200 units. And there is also a noticeable increase from period 1 to period 3. So, except muna natin si period 2 kasi from period 1, bumaba, going to period 2. But there is a increase going to period 3, which is about 6.3 or 6,300 units. So the sales also show some significant peaks and valleys. So makikita natin yung mga matataas na part, which are the peaks, and we have the valleys, which are the lowest part of our chart. Okay, period 4, on every period 4 ng bawat taon, there is it shows the highest sales. So in our year 1, period 4 or quarter 4, there is 6.9, approximately 6.9 or 6,900 units. And yung valley naman niya, which is in quarter 2, it shows a drop of 4.5 or 4,500 units. So, in terms of trend naman, kung makikita naman natin siya, although may peaks and valleys, going to the succeeding years nga, makikita natin that there is an increasing trend over the periods with the peaks becoming higher leading to year 4. So, the highest sale here, makikita natin ay nasa may period 16 na nga, which reaches 8.7 or 8,700 units. So when we observe the peaks and troughs, there is a recurring pattern for every period, indicating that there is a possible seasonal effects. Now, to have a clearer view of a better understanding of our line chart, we can also include the year para mas makikita natin dito sa may horizontal axis yung actual na year kung saan kabilang tong mga period na to. And to do that, again, we have to go back to chart design, select data. And for our horizontal axis or the x-axis, we need to include year, including the quarter. Click OK. So dito, mas makikita natin yung similarity ng pattern from year 1, year 2, and then year 3. So there is a consistent upward trend in the bread sales over the 4 years, indicating that there is an overall growth from year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4. Sales figures shows also notable fluctuation within each year. So hindi naman sa lahat ng quarter within each year puro pataas. So may mga part din nga na bumaba that represents yung lowest sale nga on each year. Meaning there is a potential seasonal variation or market influences. So highest sales are observed in year 4, quarter 4 reaching 8.7 or 8,700 as I have mentioned a while ago, while the lowest sale naman can be found in year 1, quarter 2, which is 4.5 or 4,500 units. So the chart shows repeated peaks in sales during the third and fourth quarters of each year, and indicating that during the third and fourth quarter, ito yung pinakamataas na sale within each year. And there is also a consistent drop onto the second quarter of each year, suggesting that during this time, there is a possible seasonal dip. And to continue our discussion, we have different concepts that we will be taking a look at later on, such as moving average, centered moving average, seasonal component, irregular component, trend component, deseasonalized data, forecasting, forecast data, so on and so forth. So the next step that we need to do is we need to insert another column onto the left side of our year. And we will be calling it our time. This is our time code. So, center natin. And ililabel natin yan from 1 to 16. So, instead of writing 1 to 16, we can just hold the control button and then drag natin to pababa until row 19. So, center lang din natin yan. So, why do we put the time code there? So, importante yan mamaya for the computation of other components. So, the next thing that we need to do is we need to compute the moving average. So, to do that, beside our sales column, we will be putting here our moving average for period. So, ano ba yung purpose of our moving average? So, a 4-period moving average can smooth out fluctuation by averaging the sales over the 4 consecutive quarters. Kasi nga, hindi nga smooth yung data natin kasi may ups and downs. So, the purpose of moving averages reduces the impact of random variation and can highlight longer-term trends by smoothing out short-term fluctuation. This is particularly useful daw when our data is volatile and has a lots of up and down, just like our example here. So when dealing with seasonal data, the moving average can help isolate and identify the seasonal patterns by removing the seasonal effects from the data, which is yung mga pinakamababang portion kanina. This is very important daw for understanding the true performance of time series without the influence of seasonal variation. So to compute our moving average for 4 quarters, i-average lang natin yung 4. However, since ina-average natin yung 4, we are having here uneven number set of data kasi 4 nga. Diba? If we get the average kasi of 4 numbers, syempre magpo-fall yun in between 3 and 4, right? However, in Excel kasi we cannot put naman our values in the middle ng row dito sa row 5 natin and then row 6 kasi wala namang ganun sa Excel. So, para maging tayo, safe, and yan, para maging safe tayo, we will be putting the first moving average onto the row 3. Tapos mamaya maaayos natin yan, makakabalik tayo dun sa tinatawag nating gitna later on. Since even nga tong number of data natin, we will be having another computation later on to center our data for our average. But for the meantime, we will be computing muna our moving average. And to do that, sabi nga, the formula would be to average yung quarter 1, 2, 3, and then 4 natin. So, we just have to highlight yung 4 period natin. Yan. So, medyo pwede nating i-reduce din yung number of decimal point into 2. Tapos, scroll down lang natin to until the last portion. Now, we have to check whether lahat ba ng values ng moving average natin ay average ng 4 na component or 4 na unit ng sales natin. So, to do that, click lang natin ito. Go to our formula. So, makikita natin na yung unang value natin ay average nga ng 4. Okay? How about the last one? So, kung i-check natin yung last component natin, makikita natin na 3 lang. 3 lang yung na-average dito. So, kailangan kasi natin ng 4 period moving average. Therefore, yung data natin for our last row, we need to remove this one na kasi hindi siya mag-adhere dun sa rule ng computation ng moving average. Next naman, as I have mentioned a while ago, since meron tayong even set of data, ngayon, itong gagawin natin next step, this is depende sa kung anong type or anong number ng data meron kayo. If you have an odd number of data, this would be skip na. Kasi you don't need to center naman na the data dahil odd na siya, diretso center na yon. Pero since we are dealing with an even number of data, kailangan nating ma-center sa gitna yung average. That's why we will be computing our centered moving average for 4 period para makabalik tayo doon sa may gitna as I have mentioned a while ago. Kasi nga, 'di ba, sa Excel nga hindi naman nagbibigay ng value. So, hindi tayo pwede magsulat in between two numbers. So, sa pangatlong row pa rin tayo maglalagay. So, ano bang purpose ng centered moving average? So, the moving average is calculated again to smooth out the fluctuation and highlight long-term trends. So, when we are using kasi a 4-period moving average, it averages the value of the 4 consecutive quarters to reduce the random noise. So, by centering kasi the moving average, which we already computed a while ago, we would align it to the middle of the periods it averages. It provides a more accurate representation of the trend at that point in average. Now, yun nga, bakit natin nilalagay sa third row? Bakit hindi natin pwedeng ilagay dito sa second row or to the first row? In a 4-period moving average, if we simply place the moving average in the last quarter or 4 period or in any place here except the third one, mamimisrepresent yung trend natin dito because we are not considering the middle point of the period being average. So, centering our moving average, which we will be doing later, reflects the central tendency of those 4 quarters, which can give us a more balanced view. Now, to compute the centered moving average, we just have to get the average of the first 2 here, yung nasa may first 2 moving average natin. So, we also have to average these 2. Yan. And then, same thing, para hindi na kayo mano-manong mag-enter. Okay. We need to remove na the last portion. So, i-check pa rin natin kung ito bang centered moving average natin ay average ng previous and the next moving average natin. Here, makikita natin tama. How about for the last centered moving average? So, makikita natin na hindi siya average of the previous and then the next quarter. So, therefore, i-disregard na natin yung last entry natin dito. So, yun. So, the centered moving average is a further refinement of our moving average which are centered na around each quarter. So, itong centered moving average natin, makakatulong to para makita natin yung linear representation ng data natin para maiwasan natin yung seasonality component ng ating graph. And then, we will insert now our centered moving average to our chart. So, let's go to our chart design, select data. Mag-add na tayo ng entries. Of course, the title is centered moving average. And the values would be here. Ngayon, blanco yung first and second row natin as well as the last two rows. But kapag i-enter natin siya onto our chart, make sure na i-highlight lahat from period 1 to period 16. So, yan. So, the line chart illustrates na yung ating centered moving average, which is the smooth line or the smoother version ng ating sales representation kanina. So, paano natin i-analyze tong chart na to? So, makikita natin dito, lagay pala natin yung mga, let's put the, lagay natin yung mga legend. Nakalimutan na yan. So, here, the blue line represents nga the raw data that we have kanina, yung ating historical data, which are the sales in thousands. So, kita natin that there is a fluctuation, which includes the seasonality across different quarters. The centered moving average naman represented the orange line, which smooths out the short-term fluctuation ng sales natin kanina, which can give us a clearer view of the underlying trend ng ating time series analysis. So the CMA or the centered moving average is calculated to centered around each quarter, providing a more accurate representation of the trend at each point in time. So, i-analyze natin yung ating data. So, the overall trend indicate that by the CMA or the orange line, it shows a gradual upward movement over the 4 years, which nakita na natin yan kanina. Nakita naman natin na pataas talaga siya. However nga may ups and downs. It sinasuggest lamang dito na the bread sales are generally increasing over time despite daw the short-term fluctuation. The short-term fluctuation kanina, which represents the blue line, it shows a significant peaks and valleys nga, providing higher period and lower sales. So this fluctuation could be due to seasonal variation, promotional activities, different market conditions, or other external factors. So yung seasonal pattern naman, the charts also show a recurring pattern where there is a peak and drop in specific quarters. For example, there is a noticeable peak in quarter 3 in each year and quarter 4 in each year. The centered moving average hence helps smooth out these seasonal effects para mas makita natin yung overall trend ng ating sales from year 1 to year 4. So, hindi na natin makikita dito yung ups and downs but puro pataas na siya. So, what is the ano naman yung differences ng sales natin from our centered moving average? When we compare kasi our sales to our centered moving average, it allows us to see how far the sales deviate from the trend kasi makikita natin yung difference niya later on. Periods where the blue line is above the orange line. Kapag mas mataas yung blue line natin from the orange line, ang ibig sabihin lamang nito, for example, this point, ibig sabihin this is better yung performance niya during this time. Ito namang nasa may baba ng orange line, itong mga drops natin, it shows naman that the periods indicate a underperformance during this time. So, yun yung importance of centering our moving average para matanggal natin yung seasonal variation. Okay? So, palitan ko pala yung title ng chart natin. So, you can change the title to Time Series Plot of Red Sales. Nakalimutan ko siyang gawin kanina. So, ngayon ko siya gawin. So, yan. Move ko lang ulit siya dito because we will be looking at the different components pa ulit leading to our forecast later on. Now, talking about removing the seasonality and the irregularity components. So, ano ba yung mga seasonality? So, in time series kasi, in time series, meron tayong tatlong component na may encounter later on. There is a seasonal component, there is an irregular component, and there is also a trend component. So, itong ups and downs natin from our original time series data, ito yung nagpapakita ng there is a seasonality. So, yung mga ups and downs na yan, it represents the seasonality or yung fluctuation ng ating data. Yung overall direction naman natin, which is nga increasing nga, that would be our trend component. So, mamaya mako-compute din natin yung trend component na yan. And we also have our irregular component. Ano ba yung irregular component? From the word irregular, this is just a random aspect. So, from quarter to quarter kasi, there is a variation that exists na hindi natin ma-explain bakit nangyayari yon. It does not follow any pattern. This is always present in every data that we have or yung variability na tinatawag. Hindi pare-pareho from year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4. So, there is no such thing nga kasi as a perfect pattern in real world. So, that one represent our irregular component. Okay, so since we are already done on determining the moving average and the centered moving average, which is very useful to smooth out our data, the moving average and centered moving average nga kasi is important to take out the seasonal component and the irregular component. So this is without. So these two, this is without the seasonal and the irregular component. Now, what if i-extract naman daw natin yung difference ng original data natin, this one, to the less seasonal and irregular data? Makikita natin yung difference. Ano ba yung magiging difference nung original data natin kapag tinanggal natin si seasonal component and irregular component? So to do that, we have to look back to our original data and see how much of our original data was this component. Kasi natanggal na natin yung moving average and centered moving average natin. So, we need to extract our seasonal component and our irregular component. And to do that, again, dun pa rin tayo sa may row 3. To do that is we just have to divide. So, let me put na lang the formula here. To do that, we have to divide our original data, which is our YT, divided by our centered moving average. So that is our formula. So we will be putting the first one here. So equal sign, first data natin divided by our centered moving average. Press enter and reduce lang natin yung number of decimal point para consistent tayo all throughout. And then, so yan. So how do we interpret our the seasonality component and the irregularity component na na-extract natin? So dito, our interpretation would be comparing to our original set of data which is nasa sale. Kapag greater than 1 kasi, let's say for this instance ito, so yung ating seasonal component and irregular component is 1.08. Ibig sabihin nito, this is 8%. This is 8% greater than the smooth out line. So dito, Dun sa third quarter natin, i-zoom natin para mas makita. So, from our third quarter ito, i-compare natin yung ating centered moving average to the original component natin or yung difference nila. Makikita natin yung difference ng itong blue dot na to and orange dot natin. So, our irregular and itong irregular and ano natin, this represents the blue line. Okay? This is the seasonal and the irregular component. Ibig sabihin, our computation for quarter 3, which is 1.08, our seasonal and irregular component is 8% greater than our smooth line or our centered moving average ito. Ito namang second one, which is yung nasa may quarter 4 din natin. Again, this is also greater or 14% greater. Yung ating seasonal and irregular component is 14% greater than the smooth line. Okay, tignan naman natin yung dito sa may mga baba naman natin. So, for year 2, quarter 2, so, year 2, quarter 2. So, kapag less than 1 naman, ibig sabihin this is lesser. So, makikita naman natin na nasa baba siya ng orange line. That's why yung year 2, quarter 2 natin, that would be 83. This is 83% below our smooth line. So, dun natin makikita yung difference kapag kinompare natin yung data natin with the seasonal and irregular component to our smooth line to see yung difference nung data natin. Again, if our data is greater than 1, meaning our seasonal and irregular component is above our smooth line. If it is below 1 naman, that would be under or below our smooth line. Next, since na-extract na natin yung seasonal component and irregular component, we would further remove ulit the seasonal component. So, we will add another column na may title na seasonal component. Of course, this is i-bold natin ito. So, here kasi, bakit kailangan natin i-compute yung seasonal component alone? Why do we need to remove the irregular component? So, we need to get rid of the irregular component and extract seasonal component para daw ma-quantify natin or mabilang natin yung seasonal component for quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. To do this, we just have to average daw the seasonal and irregular component combined for each quarter to get rid of the irregularity. So, kailangan nating i-average yung seasonal and irregular component, let's say for quarter 3 of every year. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Or the, since ang may, ano lang tayo, quarter 1 tayo is in year 2, ayan, i-average natin yan for the succeeding years. So, we can do that manually. Isa-isahin natin, but may mas better na way para magawa natin yan. So, in any way or any part of our worksheet, mag-add lang tayo ng another table dito somewhere here siguro para mas, kasi marami pa tang i-add later on. Okay, somewhere here siguro. So, gawa lang tayo ng another table, quarter, and then, so ito separate na to ha. This is yung mga separate na seasonal component of every quarter in each year. Mas better kasi kapag naka-separate siya. So, you have quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. So, ayusin natin. We can put borders. So, sabi ko nga, the formula, or yes, the formula to solve the seasonality component in each quarter is, i-average lang natin yung seasonal component and irregular component of every quarter. So, we will start with quarter 1, year 2. Just have to press the control button. Quarter 1, year 3, and quarter 1, year 4. So, here, nagpakita na siya. So, the same process yung gagawin natin for quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. But there is a better way to do that. May shortcut tayo. So we can just use the average if function. Yan. So, para mas mabilis nating mahanap. So, the average if function, tapos, ang magiging range natin dito is of course our quarter. Make sure to lock it in F4. Tapos, yung criteria natin, of course, we are looking for quarter 2. And this is our average range. Kasi ito naman yung mga values na in-average natin. Make sure to lock this one as well. And since wala tayong values ng seasonality and irregularity component ng quarter 1, quarter 2 for year 1, adjust lang natin yung range natin. The same with sa quarter natin kasi hindi naman siya kasama sa my computation. You just have to press enter. And the same formula, i-drag down lang na. So, yan na. So, these are the different values ng ating seasonality component for every quarter. So, i-input lang natin ito to our seasonality component column dito sa my worksheet natin above. So, we can just copy-paste it on every quarter. Pero, meron tayong mas better way or mas madaling way para magawa yun. So, we just need to use the VLOOKUP function. And of course, our lookup value would be our quarter. Ito lang pala. First one lang. So, select muna natin yung quarter 1. Our table array would be this one. Ito natin siya mahahanap. Make sure to lock it to. And of course, we're looking for an exact match. Press enter. So, yan. Even though hindi kasama sa computation natin kanina yung ito sa may first natin, but we computed the quarter 1 for every year kasi. So, reduce lang natin yung decimal point and we just need to drag this down all over to period 16. So, yan. So, makakasave tayo ng time instead of pasting the values dito sa may table na nagawa natin. Pero you can still do that naman. Pero, mas okay yung VLOOKUP function na lang. Now, so after nating ma-separate yung seasonality component natin, mag-insert ulit tayo ng another column, which is ang goal natin dito, this one is deseasonalize. We need to deseasonalize our data. So, tatanggalin na natin yung mga ups and downs na yan. So, para ma-deseasonalize natin yung data, ang formula dito would be yung original data natin divided by our seasonality component. Kaya nauna nating na-compute or inuna nating hinanap yung seasonality component, it's because it will be one of the component na kailangan to deseasonalize the data further. So, napakadali lang nito. We just have to follow the formula. So, ano bang purpose? Why do we need to deseasonalize our data? So, this is deseasonalizing the sales data removes the seasonal effect. Kaya nga, deseasonalize. It allows us to analyze the underlying trend without the influence nga ng mga recurring patterns or recurring seasonal patterns kanina. For example, if the sales for a quarter would be, kunyari ito, sa quarter 2 sana, ang sale dito ay 6.3. And the seasonal index naman, for example, dito yung seasonal index niya, ito yung 1.8. The seasonalized data sales would be approximately, magkakaroon siya ng value dito. So, before that, computein muna natin yung deseasonalized data para makita natin yung difference nila. So, equal sign, our sale divided by yung ating seasonal component. Again, reduce lang natin yung number ng 2 decimal places. And drag din natin to all over. So, yan yung ating deseasonalized data. So, pag natanggal na natin, comparing to our original data, and of course, if we remove yung ating seasonal component, yung deseasonalized data natin would be 5.47 or that would be approximately 5,400 kapag walang mga pattern. Okay, yon. That is the purpose of deseasonalizing the data. We need to remove the patterns na nag-appear kanina sa ating original pattern. So, next naman, or original or historical data, I should say. So, after we deseasonalize our data by removing yung mga recurring seasonal patterns, we will now ready to compute another component na na-mention po kanina. So, tapos na tayo sa seasonal component and irregular component, which is yung recurring patterns natin kanina. We will now compute yung ating third component, which is the trend component. So, yung trend component, as I have mentioned kanina, yun yung increasing values natin. Pataas kasi siya eh. Pattern of ups and downs, there is an increasing trend from year 1 to year 4. So, to compute our trend component, we will be performing regression. So, last time, for group 5, I believe, na-discuss naman na sa atin on how we could perform a simple linear regression. So, to do that, we just need to load yung data analysis toolpack natin. So, if you haven't had the toolpack pa, na-discuss naman na last time on how you could add it to our Excel. So, just go to File tab, tapos dun sa may options, tapos meron tayong add-in. So, i-add lang natin yung analysis toolpack. So, in this case kasi, I have already analysis toolpack added dito. So, we will be performing a simple regression. Ano ba yung purpose nun? Kasi kailangan natin, to compute kasi the trend component, we need to have our intercept and then the slope. So, to do that, click lang natin yung data analysis natin from yung data analysis toolpack natin, and we will be performing a simple regression. So, yan. So, ang magiging input natin, or magiging input Y range natin, we will be using our deseasonalized data. So, this will be our Y input. Ang atin namang X input would be our time code. Ito. Diba nag-insert tayo kanina ng time code? Insert lang natin yan. And ang output range natin, so probably I will perform the regression somewhere here. Then click OK. So, i-load lang natin yung ating regression. And dito makikita na natin yung ating intercept and then the X variable. Ito yung kailangan natin to compute our trend component. So, highlight lang natin para mas madali natin siyang balikan mamaya. So, how do we compute our trend component? So, to compute the trend component, our formula would be, so click natin yan, equals yung value ng slope natin, ng intercept natin. So, our intercept is this one. Click lang natin ito. Make sure we lock it. And then, add to the value of our slope, which is this one. Make sure to lock it as well. Multiplied by the time code. Again, the formula to compute the trend component is you add the intercept and the variable. Make sure to lock it in F4 and multiply it to our time component or time code, which is nandito sa pinakaunang column natin. Press enter. So, ayan na yung trend component natin. And then, Same as nung iba. Remove lang ulit natin yung mga ibang decimal. So, baba natin hanggang dulo. So, what is the purpose? Why do we need to compute the trend component? So, ang trend component kasi is the long-term movement in the time series data after we remove the seasonal components. Kasi nga, di ba, ginamit natin yung deseasonalized data natin. So, the trend component help us understand the overall direction of the sales over a moving time, whether it is increasing, decreasing, or remaining stable. So, importante din that we have our trend component later on for the forecast. So, this time, we already have computed 3 of the most important components: the seasonality component, the irregularity component, and the trend component na nakakaapekto talaga doon sa may yun nga, yung sa may seasonality ng ating dataset kanina. Now, the last column na kailangan natin gawin is this time, since natapos na nating makompute ang centered moving average, we already extracted the seasonal component, quantify the seasonality component, deseasonalize the data, we already identified the trend component. We are now ready to make a forecast. So, you cannot make a forecast kung hindi mo pa na-compute yung mga 3 important components that we have kanina. So, how do we compute forecast? So, to compute forecast, ang formula lamang nito ay we need to multiply our seasonality component multiplied by our trend component. Kaya nga, kailangan nating makompute yung mga important component kanina because these are our basis to compute yung mga succeeding values natin later on. So, for our forecast, equal sign, select lang natin yung first value of our seasonality component multiplied by our trend component. And then, same as true with the other values. Tapos ibaba lang natin. So, yun, hindi na kayo paulit-ulit na mag-i-insert ng formula. So, ano ba ang importance or purpose ng forecasting? So, ang forecasting kasi is the predicted future values of the sales based on the identified trend and seasonal components. So, forecasting can help us in predicting future sales, providing us insights for planning and decision making. For example, if we combine daw the trend estimate with the seasonal index, it can give us a projected sale for the future period. Ito nga, 'di ba, ginamit natin yung seasonality component and yung trend component natin. Ito yung nakatulong to help predict kung ano yung magiging future values in every quarter. So, since meron na tayong mga forecasted value, our next step naman dito, which is our ultimate goal, is we now predict the future values of year 5 na tayo, ha. So, with all the things that we have computed a while ago, kinakailangan natin yan so that we can predict yung magiging future values on year 5. So, itong spare na rows dito, yung 4 na to, this is the space intended for our year 5. So, let me change lang yung color para mas makita natin yung ano niya. So, here, I will be putting year 5 na kasi we're already in year 5. I-forecast na natin yung mga possible values. As you can see, naglagay pa lang ako ng quarter. Lumabas na yung mga values ng seasonal component natin. So, ayan na. So, hindi na ninyo kailangan ni ano yan kasi na-solve na natin kanina, dire-diretso na yan. Here, we can also put our time code. Extract lang natin yan. Fill without formatting. O, since naulit yung 16, edit na lang natin yan. 18, 19, and 20. Center natin para mas organized. And ang kailangan lang natin ulit i-ano dito na very important of course to forecast is of course the trend component. Yan. Fill without formatting. And of course, yung forecasted values natin. Fill without formatting as well. So, ito lang yung mga importanteng component na for our year 5. So, itong values natin dito, ito yung kailangan natin i-plot ito sa ating original time series para mai-compare natin yung projected sales for year 5. And to do that, let's go back to our line chart and of course, go to chart design. Select data. We'll need to add another entry. This time, this is the forecast. Of course, that's the series name. And yung values. So, syempre from the first one, period 1 hanggang period 20 na. So, dito. Okay, since medyo magkakakulay sila, palitan natin yung color. Mas madaling. Probably ito. Okay. Let me zoom it. So, yan. So, yung original data natin kanina is the orange line. And then, yung ating centered moving average, yun yung smooth line, which is in blue. And yung forecasted sale natin is in green 1. Okay? So, makikita naman natin yung na-forecast in quarter 1. So, in quarter 1, naka-align siya dun sa historical trend natin, moderate. Kasi almost same na sila ng position noong plot natin for year 1. Same as quarter 1, I should say. Same as to with quarter 2. Konti lang yung main difference nila. Quarter 3, quarter 4, so on and so forth. And, na-predict pa dito or na-forecast pa dito yung possible values in the year 5. Okay, by the way, let me put yung quarter din ng year 5 natin. So, click tayo dito. Edit. Of course, idadagdag na natin yung year 5 natin. So, ayan. Balik tayo sa ating chart. Okay. So, yun nga, as I have mentioned kanina, almost same lang yung position ng forecasted sale natin from the historical data that we have. The year 5 forecast aligns with the historical patterns, projecting that there will be a continued growth with the highest sales. Napipik talaga in quarter 3 and quarter 4. And of course, there is also a decrease in every quarter 2. So, nag-match siya doon sa may pattern na meron tayo with our historical data. So, this is how time series analysis works. So, yung mga data natin or historical data natin cross time, magagamit natin yon to predict possible future sales. Hindi lang naman sa future, siguro probably if merong recurring pattern, we can also use time series analysis sa iba't iba pang mga field. Sa medicine, pwede rin siguro sa weather forecasting, so on and so forth. So, ito siya. Okay, I hope you learned something and I hope that I have explained the lesson well. So, thank you for listening and have a good day.